There is some pretty big news coming out of the cycling industry right now, and it has to do with one of the biggest companies out there being Trek, because of the fact that recently U.S. carbon rim manufacturer CSS Composites is closing. Now, if you guys do not know who that is, CSS Composites only one of a few carbon rim manufacturers based in the United States is closing and liquidating assets for its creditors. Now, why is this big news for Trex? Well, CSS Composites Legal Counsel's, basically the lawyer company, sent a letter on Tuesday to its OEM partners, including Bontrager, which is, if you guys do not know, pretty much Trek's sister company, or makes all their carbon fiber products like handlebars, wheels, stems, all their component brands like Specialized has Revolve and stuff like that. They also had work with Revel Bikes, Evil Bikes, Chris King Precision Components. It cited enduring economic challenges facing the bicycle industry. Well, basically, they are closing immediately. And a couple companies came out, like Revel and also Chris King, basically saying that they have submitted warranties or trying to get service done with their products. And it was kind of radio silent on their end, basically for the past month. And now they're finding out now why, because they just basically closed up the doors and said, that's it, we're done, without really kind of talking or letting any of these guys know or kind of giving a heads up. And you would think with recent kind of, especially in America, with all these tariffs going on where they're tariffing and taxing all these companies that are exporting from China, Japan, wherever it is, that the American-based company will be doing pretty well. But it seems like that is not the case. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But this could be pretty bad in an already hard economy where it's struggling. They're not selling those products. Maybe they have a bunch of backlog products, or maybe they have a demand of it. If Trek is using this company or was using this company to go ahead and manufacture a bunch of OEM wheels for their pre-made bikes or service or warranty, now if you go ahead to go to a Trek dealer and you have a problem with your Bontrager wheels, your road bike wheels, your mountain bike wheels, your gravel bike wheels, now they don't really have a way to service these things or get a warranty case taken care of. So you might get a backlog forever, how long that might be. Now, I don't know personally what wheels these might be. Maybe CSS only had a small handful of product lines. Like maybe they only made their gravel wheels or only made their mountain bike wheels. But it's Trek. It's not like a small company. It's not like, hey, we only have 50 orders of these wheels. They are a massive company worldwide, and they manufacture wheels for their whole entire bike brand. So it's not like they can just go to Zip and say, hey, CSS Composites makes our wheels. They went out of business. Zip, can you make our wheels for us now? No, it's probably a ton of orders. Or the same thing. You can't go to Reynolds. You can't go to anywhere else. It's going to take a lot of logistics to go ahead and figure out how to go ahead and put a Band-Aid over here. Now, the other companies like Revel Bikes, Evil Bikes, Revel Bikes, and Evil Bikes, and Chris King as well. Obviously, they're all going to have to figure this out. But in terms of Trek, which I've heard some, like I said, I've heard some allegations about what they're kind of in debt right now, and then the whole situation with Giant with the importing stuff and that kind of getting pushed back, and them not being able to go ahead and they're turning around product being imported into the country. I've heard, this is all speculation and allegations, but I've heard that they are in a good amount of debt, and they are kind of figuring out ways to go ahead and push back paying off the debt and figuring out ways to go ahead and sell it, because it's not just obviously them as a company. The whole entire bicycle industry right now is still struggling with overstock and moving products. So again, how would this happen? You would think that this American company would be really thriving during this time of the economics of not having to pay tariffs and getting these lower costs. And even in my mind, I would think, okay, if you have a big line like Bontrager, or if you have one of your vendors or one of your customers is Trek, how could you let this happen? The only thing in my mind will be maybe that the CSS kind of knew where they were at. They probably wanted to get this deal with Bontrager back in the day, so maybe they went ahead and did something like pennies on the dollars for these wheels. So maybe the fact that they figured that they'll make up for on quantity. But now that the bicycle industry is not ordering as much, or maybe there's so much overstock, maybe now Trek's like, hey, we don't need as many wheels. So now they're kind of suffering, and now they're not making as much profit on each wheel build. But yeah, it's going to be a very big struggle, I think, to go ahead and fix this. Or at least for Trek to go ahead and figure out, or Bontrager to go ahead and figure out ways to find new wheels or manufacture new wheels, because I would love to know the number of how many Bontrager wheels are made by them, and even service and stuff like that too. Because when you have an issue with Trek, or when you have an issue with a Bontrager wheel, you take it back to a local Trek dealer. They will go ahead and write a warranty case. You send it back into Trek, and they will go ahead and fix that. Now, we'll have to figure out what happens. As well, with another company, CSS also came out and basically said, if you previously submitted a request for service, repair, or replacement that has not been fulfilled, unfortunately, that service will not be able to be provided according to the letter. So if you're personally going through this right now, and maybe your warranty replacement is taking a little bit longer than what it's expected, and it is a Bontrager product or Bontrager wheel, maybe this is the reason why, and now they're trying to go ahead and figure that out as well. A statement also came out, which Chris King is also a massively known bearing company, hub company, and also they make their carbon fiber products as well. Concerning CSS, my team got the news late yesterday afternoon, along with what appears to be everyone else, including the media. We did not get a heads up about this situation. As far as I know, over the last month or so, they have not communicated with us on some requests we were making. I guess now we know why. This is really unfortunate and very disappointing on how it is handled by CSS. Obviously, if they're in debt or they're figuring out money problems, they're probably just trying to keep their head above water to pay back creditors and also people that they owe money to. So it's kind of like them just being like, hey, we're just taking in as much money as we can, not doing service work, and gonna go under this point. At this point, we are assessing what this means and how we can handle future warranty claims for any King customer that purchased ARD44, MTN30, or GRD23 in the best way possible. Our first priority is making sure that our customers get taken care of. So again, like I said, I don't think it's going to be the entire Bontrager lineup, or maybe it is, which would be even more concerning. But usually these manufacturers like CSS would just handle a handful of wheels, maybe a spec of a rim that's popular. And it seems like this company, CSS, is more mountain or gravel based. I don't really see a lot like Revel Bikes, Chris King, and Evil Bikes are more mountain bike based companies. This is also Revel right here as well. Revel stopped producing wheels with CSS a few years ago. When we launched our first wheels with them, they were incredible to work with. The wheels made a big splash in the industry. Over time, things changed, and we decided to focus solely on developing new bikes instead of wheels. Since reacquiring Revel a few months ago, we've now seen challenging warranty issues with CSS has become for our customers, and now we understand why. We only learned of the closure yesterday from CSS lawyers, and I feel incredibly bad for all the employees, vendors, riders impacted. We're committed to exploring every option as we can support riders who purchase CSS-made wheels and may need to warranty replacements in the future. So even in that situation, if you go ahead and reacquire the company, Chris King or Revel or Bontrager, they might have to go ahead and eat the cost of what these products are if they can't get warranted, and just offer them a new upgraded product that is backed by someone else that is not CSS. So it might be a huge shakeup, which is, seems to be kind of a small article, but when you have a name like Bontrager and Chris King in there and Evil Bikes and Revel, yes, like I said, these companies are set to deal with this stuff. It's always unfortunate, but they're going to have to figure things out, but it is going to be costly. Logistically, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And if you're already struggling right now at this point, which a lot of companies are, this is not the news you're going to want to hear. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. And stop talking about my ad blocker. I don't need an ad blocker. I like ads. Shut the hell up. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.